Hey guys, Lex here, back with our semi-blind playthrough of Morrowind. Last time, we busted into Vivek's palace, and we started reading some lore-related stuff. I made a second save file, because Vivek is right there, and we talked to him, and he's like, yo, I didn't summon you, get out. You know? And, but that's not gonna stop us. I think we read the Battle of Red Mountain, right? Right, so the plan to defeat Dagoth was all about essentially what we're supposed to do, which is really kind of weird because it sounds like you have to get some artifacts, and I don't remember keening and sunder, and it said something like so the tribunal had them, and I don't know how they got back into Dagoth's hands. Don't go, Mr. Manny. You don't have to go. You don't want to be in my lap. Are you okay? Are you all right? You don't have to leave. That's a little sad. Okay, I'm moving, Manny. Hang on. All right, you ready? I'm moving. Too bad there's no spell that restores magic. Anyway, I don't remember if it said... Yeah, the lost the artifacts. Scout inside. Recover artifacts. And I don't remember... I mean, I really don't remember how they beat the game with the speedrun, but I could have sworn they just, like, jumped across the map and then ran into Dagoth's area and did something. So they didn't have keening and sunder. I don't think. But they're probably using glitches or whatever. Right. Right, because you need sunder and keening and then... Right. Right, but they're expecting us to attack him, presumably not necessarily to sever the heart, but I would suspect... I'm also not going to steal these because they might be stolen and then we'd lose them if we get arrested or whatnot. They'll probably let us take them when Vivek actually summons us. But for now, I mean, it's just a locked door. It's just a locked door. Locked and trapped, and you can go in here, assuming your skill is high enough. Oh, I know, right? Anyway. Let me drink some beer. I just opened this. Alright. Also, they could be lying. You know what I mean? But right, if Dagoth offers for me to join him, pretty sure it won't let you beat the game, though. I'm pretty sure, like, it doesn't have multiple endings. You have to sever the connection to the heart. Alright. So, Dagoth's plans. The following documents were prepared by temple scholars and agents of the Inquisition for Lord Vivek. From interrogation of captured sleepers and other Sixth House cultists. From study of manuscripts written by cultists and victims of dream-induced mania. From interviews with Lord Vivek concerning historical campaigns against Red Mountain. And from broad conjectures and inferences made upon these materials, this is our best estimate of Dagoth's motivations and objectives in this most recent phase of his war upon Morrowind. The fact that they're telling you all of this, I'm not sure how I feel, how they're being so blatant about it. But they probably don't want to They probably didn't want the voice actor to do it, because I think Dagoth is voice acted, but maybe not all his lines. Right? Rather than talking to him, they want you to understand what the deal is before. Maybe, I guess. Okay, establish a theocracy in Morrowind based on the worship of the newborn god Akulakan, second Numidium, to be created by Dagoth from the heart of Lorkhan, and a body constructed according to the principles and rituals pioneered by the Dwemer Kagranak. Okay. Establish the ancient heirs of House Dagoth as the god priests of Akulakan, and the sixth house of Dagoth as the dominant political power in Morrowind. Through charismatic conversion, unite the Dunmer under the guidance of Dagoth to battle against the foreign animals who hold Morrowind in subjection? Note, Dagoth has apparently adopted the views and motivations of the Dwemer Highcraft Lord Kagranak. In effect, he recapitulates the ancient blasphemous folly of the Dwemer. Right, okay. Expose the false worship of the tribunal and destroy the ecclesiastical authority and political power of the temple. How much the distant priests or the cult of the Nerevarine may be controlled or influenced by the sixth house in this regard is open to speculation. Extirpate all remaining individuals of inferior and mongrel races from Morrowind. Extirpate, I think that's get rid of. Drive the Empire from Morrowind. Recover ancient territories stolen by Skyrim and Argonia. Extend the worship of Akulakan to all nations of Tamriel through subversion and conquest. Plans to establish and expand the Sixth House. Phase 1. Secure Red Mountain against Tribunal intruders. Deny Tribunal access to the Heart, weakening the temple while securing Red Mountain for the creation of Akulakan. Keep the construction of Second Numidium a secret. Alright. Phase 2. Create passive servants in ever-widening circles around Red Mountain by broadcasting compulsions, couched in dream imagery to susceptible persons or susceptible subjects in their sleep. Establish a major operational base at Korgorun for further operations in the Ash Wastes. Establish smaller bases near small port villages and in lower-class waterfront districts in Vivec. Infiltrate and subvert smuggling syndicates. Right, we don't know what the smuggling is all about. Recruit willing followers from disaffected populations, including the underworld, the poor, and rabid anti-imperial activists. Phase 3. Expand from smaller bases to other towns and villages and recruit and indoctrinate subjects made susceptible by dream sendings. Occupy abandoned towers and ruins, and train corrupted cultists as raiders and irregular troops. Identify, discredit, and decimate possible sources of political resistance. I wonder if we're going to see this progress as we go through the game. Phase 4. Use assassination and terror to weaken, distract, and disrupt the legions and the imperial bureaucracy along with their Hlalu sympathizers. Inspire popular uprisings of the native poor against the foreign rich and powerful. Summon sleepers and dreamers to Dagoth to work on Second Numidium. Inferring Dagoth perspectives. Dagoth thinks on a large time scale. You know what I wonder about the inferior races? Is that what the Tribunal thinks? Or is that what they're saying Dagoth thinks? Could be both. Dagoth thinks on a large time scale, for the most part in the outside of time scale of the divine consciousness. He thinks that only obstacles of mythic scale are worth consideration. He believes he is fated to rule Morrowind, to free Morrowind of the Empire, and to become the new hard-loving father of Morrowind. Given that perspective, the only opposing forces Dagoth worries about are the Tribunal, the Daedra, the Emperor, and the Incarnate. Well, I mean, that makes sense. I should have had more coffee, or I could have actually slept last night. So we're just going to read this stuff, and then we're going to leave. We're going to go talk to a guard and see if they say anything. And then if not, we'll go to the puzzle canal. Which is strange, because it looks like you just have to frickin' walk off the side into the canals themselves, which is odd. That's partly why I came in here, because I figured, well, you need to be able to go inside. Excuse me. With the Tribunal's loss of Sunder and Keening, and with the diminishing resources of Vivek, Almalexia, and Sothasil, Dagoth believes he has permanently gained a decisive strategic advantage. On a mortal timescale, the battle may last for centuries, but the outcome is not in doubt. An Akula Khan may be a device for dramatically reducing the timescale for a decisive victory. The myth of dynamic invincibility of the Emperor and the Empire has long been an unquantifiable and intimidating threat, but recent rumors of unrest in Cyrodiil, of the Emperor's failing health, and the unsettled question of the succession have diminished the scale of that threat. Nonetheless, the revelation that the Nerevarine is a pawn of Imperial intelligence, handpicked and sent to Morrowind by the Emperor himself, may cause Dagoth considerable anxiety. Right, so we're probably not... Well, when was this written? You know, is this part of the prophecy? They've divined that the Emperor himself will send someone? Right. The data represent no coherent obstacle to Dagoth. Nonetheless, their personal abilities and their influence upon their fanatic followers is considerable, their motives and actions obscure, and Dagoth remains concerned about them. The Incarnate represents Saint Nerevar, a mythic force that has previously defeated Dagoth and Dagoth is obsessed with this threat. Interesting. So it was not the Tribunal that defeated... We need to reread some of this stuff, because it's... I don't know how much of this is real, how much is lies. There's conflicting information, or maybe I'm just misremembering it. I don't know. At the same time, Dagoth knew Nerevar personally, knew that he was a mortal man with faults and weaknesses. Dagoth may have some hope of seducing or negotiating with Nerevar's reincarnation. Further, when Nerevar and the Tribunal defeated Dagoth, they were strong and allied. Now the Nerevarine and the Tribunal are weak, opposed, and divided. The Tribunal is divided? Well, and we also don't know if Nerevar was actually killed by the Tribunal. Therefore, though the Nerevarine and the Tribunal represent the most serious threat to Dagoth plans, he still has good reason to believe this time he will prevail. A recent timescale of Dagoth activities. Much of the following timescale is based on inference from incomplete information. Before the Second Era, 882, Dagoth and his kin lie dreaming beneath the sills of Red Mountain. Yeah, they talk about ash vampires. Okay. 882, Dagoth and his ash vampires awake refreshed and emerge from lower Red Mountain into the Heart Chamber. Dagoth ritually binds himself and his brethren as Heart Whites in a ritual of his own devising. First stages of construction of Second Numidium, conceived during the long sleep, are begun by Heart Whites and Atronach constructs in a chamber near the heart of Lorkhan. Keeping the Second Numidium project a secret from the Tribunal is a high priority. The Tribunal arrive at Red Mountain for their annual ritual bathing in the Heart's power. Really? So you have to be near the heart in order to get the power. Or keep your power. Which explains why it's waning, right? Because they've been away. Dagoth and Ash Vampires ambush the Tribunal. The Tribunes are driven away and prevented from restoring themselves with Kagernek's tools at the heart of Lorkhan. Okay. Second Era 882 to the Third Era 417. I don't know how long this time period is. It's got to be at least 417 years. This might go to 1,000. It might not. So it could be 600 years, give or take. 500, whatever. Intermittent Tribunal campaigns assault Red Mountain. The Tribunal and supporting forces seek to force access to the Heart Chamber, but are repeatedly driven back. Dagoth recruits Recruit sleepers and dreamers through dream sendings. Cultists are recruited through dream compulsion. Weaker cultists become corpus beasts. Stronger cultists advance through stages towards the powers of the ascended sleepers. Which I assume one of the ascended sleepers was the chick with the knife, but we didn't really see a lot of... I don't know. It didn't... From what they were saying, it didn't seem super great. But maybe we're super tough. Okay. Korgaroon reoccupied by Dagoth Uthul and fortified as an advanced base for Six House operations. Blight storms more frequent and widespread. Soul sickness spreads in regions close to Red Mountain. Third Era 410. Six House bases founded near Narmak and in waterfront areas of Vivek. Six House operatives exploit smuggler organizations and communications to spread their influence among victims unbalanced by Dagoth's dream sendings. 415. Small cells of Six House cultists in every town in Vardenfell. Larger Six House operations are concealed in remote dungeons where creatures are bred and cultists are trained for the coming struggle. Wow. So we are... Right. Okay, 417. All Malexians sought the cell lose the artifacts Keening and Sunder to Dagoth, Odros, and Vemin. Vivek rescues Amalexian sought the Sill, but failing to recover Keening and Sunder, the Tribunal retreat from Red Mountain in disorder. So they've actually been attacking this whole time. Right, we did hear about that because people talked about the Ordinators. They keep loot. They just take losses. But failing to recover Keening and Sunder, the Tribunal retreat from Red Mountain in disorder. Surviving Buoyant Armiger companions know the Tribunal was forced to retreat, but do not know how serious a reversal the Tribunal has suffered. The three Tribunes return to their respective capitals and continue to perform their ritual functions. So they are together, they just meant divided, as in the Nerevarine and the Tribunal are divided. The Tribunes continue to grow weaker without access to the heart, and because of resources required to support the Ghost Fence, the inner circle of the Temple's priesthood has begun to suspect the Tribunes have suffered seriously from wounds and demoralization in the wake of reverses at Red Mountain, but do not recognize the scale of the problem. Yeah, because that's the thing. If they have to annually top off their power at Red Mountain, at the heart, all Dagoth has to do is wait. All he has to do is hold the line. So this is presumably, they might have said something about that, but they must have made some sort of, like, desperate attack. Like, we gotta get there, let's do all of this, and then we'll restore our powers. We'll restore all our powers, and then we'll do something, right? They're like, we gotta do this, otherwise we'll lose. And that's what caused them to lose, because they brought the tools with them. Okay. Oh, so this is 10 years. We're at 427. Campaign of Six House and assassinations of prominent Imperial citizens and Hlalu Imperial sympathizers. Sudden increase in number and seriousness of attacks by cultists and victims deranged by soul sickness. Noted with concern, Dagoth can apparently perceive and communicate directly through his cultists. Sleepers and dreamers are often reported speaking as though with Dagoth voice and intention. Which is interesting because that means Dagoth refers to himself in the third person. Because the one talked to us. Little is known about the features, scale, or stage of completion of Akula Khan, the second Numidium. No one has gained entrance to the Heart Chamber since Second Era 282. Interesting. Which, that doesn't make sense, because he woke in 288, right? But they said they were going there annually. In Third Era 417, Keening and Sunder were captured and may substantially aid in Akula Khan's construction. 882. Was this a typo? Since 282? This is supposed to be 882? I assume this is a typo. Because they specifically... That's a date. And the only other date they talked about was... before 882. So, yeah. Unless this is a typo and it's supposed to be 282, but... no, probably not. Right. So let's go back up to the top. Basic objectives. No. We want the phases, right? Alright, so this is up to 882, I think. And then we have all these different phases. And so we're presumably here in phase 4. Alright, interesting. Nerevar at Red Mountain. How long is this one? I mean, long enough. See, I love this. I really love this. This is fantastic. The following is from the Apocrypha, the hidden writings of the Tribunal Temple. It is a scholarly retelling of a tradition transmitted through the Ashlanders concerning the battle at Red Mountain and subsequent events. Ashlanders associate this tale with the telling of Alandro Sul, a shield companion of Nerevar who came to live among the Ashlanders after the death of Nerevar and during the ascension of the Tribunal. There are many variant treatments of the story, but the primary elements are consistent throughout the tradition. The murder of Nerevar, tragic fate of Dagoth-Ur, and the profane source of the Tribunal's divine power are denied by temple doctrine as ignorant Ashlander superstition, not widely known among civilized Dunmer. Interesting. So they are saying they killed him. Resdane, present-day Morrowind. Oh, so something else I considered was, oh, my kitty foot. My little kitty foot. So there's this concept of, chim. But maybe it's Kime. Where, I vaguely remember people talking about Morrowind back in the day, and they're like, you can't kill Vivek, or he won't fight you because he knows you have the ability to effectively manipulate reality, which is Chim. As in, he knows you can load and reload your game, basically. Ah, that's the kitty hair. Okay. But then the question is, so we're... Before the Chimer, I assume it's Chimer, not Chimmer, became the Dunmer. So did they have Chim? Were they basically, like, is this the sort of the god story? Like they were cast down, in effect, and became mortal? And that's why... That's why they're Dunmer, right? Because they interfaced with the heart and became... You know, Nerevar was like, don't do it. And they did, and then they became Dunmer. They were cursed by Azura. Anyway, okay. Resdane, present-day Morrowind, was contested ground between two very different types of Mer. The Chimer, who worshipped Daedra, and the Dwemer, who worshipped a profane and secret power. These two people warred with each other constantly until their lands were invaded by a young, vibrant, and violent alien culture, the Nords. Hang on. Two heroes, one from the Chimer and one from the Dwemer, Indoril Nerevar and Dumak Dwarf Orc. And I assume this is family name and then whatever. Like this is backwards like the Japanese. But I don't know about this. Is it Dumac? Nerevar and Dumac. I think that's what they said. Anyway, like Indarilla's house name. Okay, one from the Dwemer. Made peace between their peoples and together ousted the alien invaders. Then these two heroes worked long and hard to maintain that peace thereafter, though their counselors thought it could not last, or worse, that it shouldn't. Nerevar's queen and his generals, Almalexia sought the Sill of Vivec, told him to claim all Resdain for his own. But Nerevar would not listen, for he remembered his friendship with Dumac. There would be only peace. Interesting. So the three were like, yeah, betray him. Betray him and take it all for yourself. Until Dagoth-Ur arrived, House Dagoth had discovered the source of the profane and secret power of the Dwemer, the legendary heart of Lorkhan, which Dumac's people had used to make themselves immortal and beyond the measure of the gods. In fact, one of their high priests, Kagrenak, was building a new god so that the Dwemer could claim Resdain for their own. Is that true, though? Maybe. But probably so, because Azura said something about that, right? Or she said, yeah, don't let them use the heart, or don't let them construct it. And then the question is the heart manipulating people, right? Is it sort of manipulating Dagoth-Ur? Did it manipulate Kagrenak? It's like, no, construct me. You know, I wish to rule. It's probably something like that, right? Okay. And this is interesting, too. Dumac's people had used to make themselves immortal. So they were using that as well. The tribunal urged Nerevar again to make war on the dwarves. Nerevar was troubled. He went to Dumac, his friend of old, and asked if what Dagoth-Ur said was true. Okay. But Kagrenak and the high priest of the Dwemer had kept their new god secret from their king, and Dumac said the Dwemer were innocent of any wrongdoing. Nerevar was troubled again and made pilgrimage to Halloween, the sacred temple of Azura, who confirmed that all Dagoth-Ur said was indeed true, and the new god of the Dwemer should be destroyed for the safety of not only Resdain, but for the whole world. When Nerevar went back and told his tribunal what the goddess had said, his queen and generals felt themselves proved aright and again counseled him to war. There were reasons the Dwemer and Chimer had hated each other forever. Finally, Nerevar, angered that his friend Dumac would lie to him, went back to Vardenfell. This time the Chimer king was arrayed in arms and armor, and had his hosts around him, and he spoke harshly to Dumac, dwarf orc, king of Red Mountain. You must give up your worship of the heart of Lorkhan, or I shall forget our friendship and the deeds that were accomplished in its name. And Dumac, who still knew nothing of Kagrenak's new god, but proud and protective as ever of his people, said, We shall not relinquish that which has been our way for years beyond reckoning, just as the Chimer will not relinquish their ties to the lords and ladies of Oblivion. And to come at my door in this way, arrayed in arms and armor, and with your hosts around you, tells me you have already forgotten our friendship. Stand down, my sweet Nerevar. I swear by the 15 and 1 golden tones, I shall kill you and all your people. Yeah, I mean, that's right. It was a show of force. And so the Chimer and Dwemer went to war. The Dwemer were well defended by their fortress at Red Mountain, but the bravery and cleverness of Nerevar's queen and generals drew most of Dumac's armies out into the field and kept them there, so that Nerevar and Dagoth-Ur could make their way into the Heart Chamber by secret means. There, Nerevar met Dumac and the Dwarf King, and they both fell from grievous wounds. Dagoth-Ur slew Kagrenak and took the tools the Dwemer used to tap the power of the heart. He went to his dying lord Nerevar and asked him what to do with these tools, and Nerevar summoned Azura again, and she showed them how to use the tools to separate the power of the heart from the Dwemer people. Oh, interesting. And on the fields, the tribunal and their armies watched as the Dwemer turned into dust all around them as their stolen immortality was taken away. And I guess time catches up to them then, right? Is that why they... No, but that was something else, right? Because supposedly Kagrenak used... he did something and they all vanished. So they say. I mean, who the heck knows? You have multiple accounts here. Back at Red Mountain, Nerevar told Dagoth-Ur to protect the tools in the heart chamber until he returned. Dagoth-Ur said, "But shouldn't we destroy these tools at once so they might never be used for evil again?" But Nerevar was confused by his wounds and his sorrow, for he still loved Dumak and the Dwemer people, and so went to the fields outside of Red Mountain to confer with his queen and his generals, who had foreseen that this war would come and whose counsel he would not ignore again. "I'll ask the tribunal what we should do with them, for they have had wisdom in the past that I have not. Stay here, loyal Dagoth-Ur, until I return." Why are they quoting this? How did they know? Anyway. Then Nerevar told his queen and generals all that had transpired under Red Mountain and how the Dwemer had used special tools to turn their people into immortals, and of the wondrous power of the heart of Lorkhan. The tribunal decided that the Chimer should learn how to use this power so that Nerevar might claim Resdain and the world for their people. Nerevar did not expect or want this, so he asked his queen and generals to help him summon Azura yet again for her guidance. But the tribunal had become as greedy as Kagrenak upon hearing of the power of the heart, and they coveted it. They made a ritual as if to summon Azura as Nerevar wanted, but Almalexia used poison candles, and Sothasil used poison robes, and Vivek used poison invocations. Nerevar was murdered. Holy crap, so they straight up announce it. Then Azura came forth anyway and cursed the tribunal for their foul deeds. She told them that she would use her powers over Dusk and Dawn to make sure Nerevar would come back and make things right again. But the tribunal laughed at her and said that soon they would be gods themselves, and the Chimer people would forget their old ways of worship. And Azura knew this would be true and that it would take a long time before her power might bring Nerevar back. "What you have done here today is foul beyond measure, and you will grow to regret it, for the lives of gods are not what mortals think, and matters that weigh only years to mortals weigh on gods forever." That's true. Right? Because the older I get, it's like the more baggage we carry with us. And so that they might know forever their wicked deeds, Azura changed the Chimer into Dunmer, and their skin turned ashen and their eyes into fire. Let this mark remind you of your true selves, who, like ghouls, fed on the nobility, heroism, and trust of their king. And then the tribunal went into Red Mountain and met with Dagoth-Ur. Dagoth-Ur saw what had been done, for his skin has changed as well, and he tried to avenge the death of Nerevar, but to no avail. He was driven off and thought dead. The tribunal found the tools he had been guarding, and through study of Kagrenak's methods, turned themselves into gods. Thousands of years after their apotheosis, which is becoming a god, the tribunal are still the gods of Morrowind, and the old ways of worship are remembered only by a few. And the murder of Nerevar is known to fewer, but his queen and generals still fear his return, for the words of Azura linger long, and they see the mark of her curse on their people every day. Wow, right? Because they were like, oh yeah, Kate, was it in this one? Where supposedly he's telling distant priest, okay. Right. See, and so he's telling this. Kagrenak turns tools at once disappeared from the world. Then instant Dwemer everywhere disappeared. Right away, lest they fall into the wrong hands. Right. So it's kind of the same thing. They got theirs like, we should destroy these tools because they're dangerous, but they didn't. He's not specifically saying why. Right, and even now, it's like only later did we hear that Dagoth-Ur and here he's saying they thought the Dwemer was destroyed, not made immortal. So even in that other thing, this is probably true that they were actually made immortal. They probably all transcended. But yeah, so Vivek's just, they're all full of lies. You even though they're like telling you what the deal is, you have to piece it together yourself. Right. And then you're basically swearing an oath. And then... And see, this is different. So here, they're like, we went with Nerevar back into Red Mountain. But by this point, they've killed him. And Dagoth-Ur had the tools, and he's like, I know what you did. I'm not giving these tools. Seemed to be irrational, insisting only he could be trusted with the tools. Well, apparently so, right? Then Nerevar and our guard resorted to force to secure the tools. Somehow he and his retainers escaped. But they must know because they know he was asleep, right? Oh, but during that time, Sothasil must have studied the tools. But who knows? And we transformed ourselves. Okay, so this is amazing, because even when they're basically telling you what the deal is, there's still contradictions and lies, and Vivek is trying to make himself look better. It's fascinating. So, all right. So we're gonna leave. Apparently, he still has the ability to float. And is that thing gonna freaking crash down? You know? How do they even have the power to give blessings, you know what I'm saying? Oh, well, we used all that magic. We should probably find a place to rest also. How do you even freaking... I guess you're... Maybe you go underwater? Maybe that's how you get the thing first, or... Oh, you probably start up at the top and then you can go down. You can't really go up very well. I don't know. All right, first a guard. First, let's find one of the ordinators. Man, this game is fantastic. All right, dude, I need you to tell me if I've sinned. Faith, law, and justice walk on. I haven't had these before. Faith conquers all. Have faith in the law. Theft, trespass, assault, foul murder, and contempt are serious crimes. Criminals must pay compensation or serve sentences of punitive labor. No foul deed goes unpunished. No wickedness goes unseen. Okay, so I think we're good. Latest rumors, bad dreams, bad omens. Gonna break the law if you attack him. Puzzle canal. Okay. Yeah, I wanna, you know. Okay. Where am I at? 3, yeah, well, we're gonna use the spear. Okay. So we have to find its man. Maybe I should just stop for now. I love... That was freaking wonderful, dude. Do we want to go to Ebonheart? Do I need to sell anything? Belt of the Armor of God. That's not bad. Probably better than the other armor, honestly. Ebonheart is over there. Do I have any quests or anything? Wait, hang on. Odinirin? Go to Odinirin, west of the Shrine of Zura. Mark it on your map. It doesn't appear to be marked on the map. You know what I do want to do is... Well, there's still the Coal Cave entrance and Baranda. Somehow that's on the map as well. Oh, but I bet that's the thing that Telvanni wizard is in. Or ex-Telvanni? I don't know, it's hard to... Oh, dude, I didn't even realize there was, like, statues up on top? Is that on all of them? Oh, look at how cool that is. They're, like, looking at each other. That's awesome.
What words do you have for me, citizen?
I don't know, but you are awesome. Right, we did do that one. Soul sickness? Madness is a sickness in the soul, comes from lack of faith and a love of sin. All this talk of bad dreams and bad omens, superstition, just a sign people have abandoned the temple and fallen into greed and wickedness. I wonder what... Oh, and let's change our... Mighty Blows. Works for me. I wonder what has changed. What's the word? So there's statues up there, but I don't see any up above this. What determines if a person gets soul sickness? You know what I mean? Strange. Is that another... I bet that's another canton over there. But it shouldn't be. Yeah, it is. I see right in the corner of the screen, I see the, let's see. Oh, that's the Telvanni one. Right, we haven't been over there. Dude, and I love that there's maps. That's really cool as well. I mean, there's got to be a place to sleep in here, right? Foreign quarter, I'm gonna try and go into maybe the Fighters Guild.
Go on, travel out your...
All these people talking to me at once. Then... maybe here? I guess I'm at the top. Oh, man. Yeah, we're gonna... I guess we'll sleep and then we'll go back there. I'm a little disappointed, I guess, that it took so long.
Go ahead, Outlander. What do you need?
I suppose I have a moment. What is it?
I'm, yeah, that's... we probably can't sleep. Look at all these petty soul gems and stuff. Probably can't sleep there.
May I help you?
Sure. There's Trebonius. Where...
Go ahead.
Okay, so there's only 2 beds. One for Trebonius, one for... Huh. Did we, Trebonius? Okay, woman with a dagger.
Do you want something from me?
Yeah, I don't know. I have all master's level stuff, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so coming in here was effectively useless.
What shall we talk about?
There's only 2 beds. What kind of a guild is this?
I'm listening, please.
Go
Go
Oh
on.
ahead,
my-
Outlander. What do
Oh my goodness, the kitty foot. So good and cute. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get up in a second, Mr. Manicat. You are incredibly adorable, though.
What brings you here, friend?
Sleep. Okay, this looks like...
Your actions show promise. What do you want?
Before I do anything, I'm gonna save... We'll save over this one. That's okay, we'll save over that. Okay, no crimes were committed. That is good. Oh my gosh, I can't leave. There we go. Oh my goodness, I'm stuck on something. Alright, this way. Alright, so, back to the puzzle canal, I suppose. It's a bit unexpected that you... Let's do, where's the staff? Wizard staff? Yeah. Okay, we should be... We'll take the direct route. It's just a shame it's so slow. I'll do what I can until I get a better levitation thing. If I find like a ring that's just like, oh yeah, levitate, whatever, for 60 seconds, I'll be like, sold, and I'll toss this thing. It's the only reason I keep it around. And we should get down, because I'm not really timing it, and if it runs out, I'm gonna fall, and that would be bad. Although I could do it over the water. See, look at this. It's so cool. You know, I say as I go up because I want to get a better look at those things. Are those supposed to be Vivek as well? I'm watching the... Oh, what is that? Oh, yeah, that's the thing in the distance. That is really cool. No, they just have to be regular Dunmer or something. So that's messed up. You know, his own wife. I mean, that's not a huge surprise, though, I suppose. Oh, it does look like it's kind of fading now. No, maybe not. I don't know. There it goes. All right, we made it.
What is this about?
But yeah, seriously, I love reading all that stuff where it's just like you read it all and then they're like, oh yeah, we straight up murdered the dude. And they did it all together, right? Like that's the other thing. None of them, like they each did it. Alright, so lock level's unlocked. It's no longer trapped, so we are gonna go, I guess, over the side. It's pretty incredible that you just frickin'... Like, okay. Right? Puzzle canal level 1. Alright, well, let's, we'll save here. All right, guys, that is it for today. Thank you. Oh, wait, hang on. Let me... it's fine. We'll switch to... There we go. Mighty Blows or the Lord's Mail. Lord's Mail works. All right, guys, that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really, you guys are enjoying these episodes. As always, questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent, let me hear them. I do try and read all of them. I do try and respond to all of them as well. What is your guys' unique positive moment for today? For me, I'm going to go with... I think I already said Dungeon Siege. I haven't played any today, but that's pretty fun. I guess I'll go with just the lore. The lore that we're getting. The fact that they basically put it out there. And even though they straight up tell you all this stuff, there's still inconsistencies and half-truths and people trying to make themselves look better. You know? I am curious what Vivek has to say. Is he going to be like, yeah, we killed Nerevar, and that's we feel bad about it. You know, even though we've basically been gods for thousands of years. Yeah. I don't know. But it's really neat. They're still trying to make themselves the victim. Anyway, that's my unique positive moment. Hopefully your guys is just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. And, excuse me for yawning. Hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.